delighted to know I've actually...
Derek, before you start, your taxi is due very
Yes.
soon.
No, delay it by 2 hours. Well, my involvement with the Trust has been most enjoyable and a rewarding journey. Both the creative, exciting, high-risk early days, and then later sharing the renaissance of the Trust of the last decade. Of course, none of it would have even started, as Barry suggested, without our first chairman, Alan Benrose. And I'm sorry Ian Webster isn't here to be here, because he was there in those early days assisting Eric Cobb, the officer who served under Alan Benrose as the chair of the Finance Committee of the County Council. And of course, as we all recognise, Deborah, Duchess of Devonshire, as the vice chair and later the president. They sustained its success for the first 20 years, and for that we must always be grateful. But to them I must also add standing archaeologist Dr. Pat Strange and architect Tony Short, who brought with them the knowledge they had gained from the VAG, that's the Vernacular Architecture Group, under Dr. Brunskill, and the experience to use it wisely. Also, as has already been referred to, the historical erudition of Maxwell Craven, still our very own honorary historian. And not to forget the legal cunning of our first honorary solicitor, Michael Mallender, into whose footsteps Louise Callow was later to step. So thanks to Louise for taking on that mantle. As has been explained, the continuation of the Trust through the next generation must go to Barry and Alan. Barry probably has a better knowledge of the detailing and conservation of Derbyshire's built heritage than anyone alive, as well as creating an enviable contact list of heritage scholars throughout UK and Europe. Alan, a very close second in that regard, added his organisational and administrative skills to ensure the Trust survived its rocky nadir. And he also capitalised on our ownership of Hopkinson's house. It was they who persuaded me to step down as Trust advisor and take on the chair. Well, thank you, Barry and Alan. I've never regretted taking that decision, and I hope I fulfilled your expectations. I thank you also for your unstinted support and your leadership within the Trust ever since. Returning from the wings came Ian Webster, who unfortunately isn't here with us, having reached the zenith of his career in public accountancy, to take on the role of treasurer with a quiet, confident, steady hand that has built a hitherto unknown security for the future of the Trust. So thanks to Ian for sticking with it through thick and thin. From left field appeared Peter Milner, a building surveyor with no particular track record in conservation. But, like St. Paul on the road to Damascus, once converted, he became one of our greatest zealots and brought an avuncular project management ability to our projects and our portfolio. So thank you, Peter, for your ready adoption of responsibility and your wise counsel. Although not related to each other, I have to thank Oliver Garish and Liz Stoppard, who give each other energy and ideas. Ollie as the consummate personal communicator, and Liz, supported by partner Mike Sesko, who with deep passion, creativity and flair has saved numerous Bonsall barns and mounted almost single-handed the Chatsworth exhibition. So Ollie, I'm sorry Ollie moved to Norfolk because his allegiance should naturally be with Derbyshire, but I need to thank him for maintaining the Trust awards. But Liz, in supporting the Trust in your inimitable personal style,
as an outrider.
You are a star who brightens our day and our work. I'm grateful too to Dan Greenwood, who's taken sufficient time from his very busy award-winning practice and other voluntary activities to lead the DHBT Academy. With a nudge from Richard Jordan, Derbyshire's best stone roofer and loyal supporter, he has added a breadth and dimension to the trust, which I hope will ensure its resilience. Recently stepping up to assist is David Young, who's taken on the much needed promotional role of organising talks to interested societies, and Ian Bristow to develop our PR and communications. I hope those activities will grow in the future. And then Richard Wood, an experienced conservation building surveyor advising on the repair of maintenance and management of clients' properties. He's ensured our decisions are pragmatic and realistic as we look towards the future. Together with Tanya Spilsbury, they took on the role of investigating and promoting new buildings at risk projects. Richard, there's no one better to chair the next stage of the trust consolidation. I thank you for stepping up to the role, and I hope to give you my unwavering support over the years to come. I also wish to thank our support team. James Boone has filled the role as our Trust Architectural Advisor with skill and honour, both in an honorary capacity, working on Aqueduct Cottage with Ron, with whom Aqueduct Cottage would never have survived, and professionally with the award-winning Wingfield Station. Now assisted by Alex Gilbert, another long-time supporter, gamekeeper turned poacher, I look forward to seeing even more activity to come. Tricia in supporting Dan in exploring how the Trust can develop the training of heritage construction skills is pioneering new territory for us, which is always a challenge. So thanks to her for taking on the role, and I just hope we can find a sustainable future in expanding the Trust impact in this way. Anna hit the ground running. For years we've dreamed of undertaking a complete county survey to identify buildings at risk, and she has managed to start with aplomb, harnessing an unparalleled army of volunteers to undertake the task. This has so impressed Historic England that despite them having been given a spending moratorium, I understand they are dedicated to somehow finding the funds for her to complete the task. Today though, my biggest thanks goes to the lady who likes to avoid the limelight. Lucy, your experience, skill, sensible administration and quiet management have been invaluable, increasing the capacity and ability of the Trust from the moment you were appointed. We simply could not have achieved the Renaissance without you. Thank you. There's a little sting in the tail. Alan Benrose taught me, you give thanks in anticipation of favours to come. So in thanking all for their help, support and friendship, I look forward to much more to come.